Awesome. We're going to do a little chart review today. So again, this is Daryl Martin from Apex Investing. We're going to try to do these at least a couple times a week, where we go in and I go back and I review charts and help answer some questions as well. Okay? That sound like a good plan? All right, so let's start off. Now, we don't, really trade the time really the first five before the open and close. But we did point out a trade this morning that was before the first 5 minutes that Lori pointed out. We didn't count that trade because we didn't really hop on until a bit later, but she just wanted to point out how it was coming off a ZOI crash. We have two different colored ZOIs here. And we got an Xbox, and we got a trapped order. Beautiful trade setup. Obviously, that would have made at least your 10 ticks, if not more. Okay? Everybody see that one? Do you see the two ZOIs right there with the mini magnet? And it also threw a mini magnet as well. So, you got a mini magnet, and you got a trapped order, and you got Xbox, and you got a ZOI crash. And ZOI crash, again, is just two different ZOIs crashing together. So right down here, you got another ZOI crash right there. Okay? So there's a 10-tick trade. And you notice they're always at the top here. Now, this is, really a period that we don't trade on these first two, or first one here. 9:31. I don't like to trade the first 5 minutes before the open and the first 5 minutes after the open, because stock orders that traders put in at night, like that are just longer term traders, they'll go in and put their orders to buy and sell like on the market open. And so a lot of times you get a lot of craziness. So sometimes it's clean and beautiful like it was this morning, but just out of safety, I'd rather go with the more cautious side, because that becomes more of a 50-50 during that 10-minute window. Okay, so again, that's basically from 9:25 to about 9:35-ish. Really the first few minutes. First one or two, where I'm really more cautious. So, anyways, but I want to show you the setup still. We got an Xbox with a trapped order. This one was off of a ZOI again. And it was off of a wall. And one of the things I want to bring up about today is we had that big crash yesterday, right? With the China news and the whole thing probably not working out this year. And some of us really cleaned up on that. It was pretty sweet. But now that we're back down into what I call wall territory, and walls, you see them, they print on the right further out than all the other levels. The walls start taking precedence on trades, because you're going to have so many levels, you'll second guess every trade, and you won't take any of them. Okay? So when we get into wall territory where there's constantly walls, those are the levels that I'm going to use caution on taking a trade into. Okay? Now taking it below it, fine. But, I want to make my 10 ticks into the walls. I'm not going to worry about every level in the way, because the walls become really the strong points. And you'll see, here's how do you know that? How do you know you're there? One, not only do you see the walls, but two, notice how the markets are just moving through all the levels with no problem. Okay? So we're in a territory now where the levels by themselves don't matter much, and the walls are what matter. And we can tell that by how the market's just really not respecting them. When we were up on the highs and there was nothing there, then that became really important, because you didn't have a lot of levels. So when you don't have a lot of levels, every level means a lot, as far as being careful to not take a trade. But when you got levels everywhere, then you start sticking to your walls, you start sticking to your support resistance lines, you start sticking to your devs and stuff like that. Okay? So let's look at it and let's see. So we got that trade right here. We pull back. We get another Xbox with a trapped order. That's the blue box inside. Let me see if I can. There you go. Make it easier for you to see. So Xbox with the trapped order. That's the little blue box inside. So you go short right there. Boom, boom. There's your 10 ticks. Profitable. Okay? And then over here we got an Xbox trapped order. This is a continuation trade. Boom, boom. Notice I got my 10 ticks right before that wall, or I would have been really nervous. Okay, do y'all see that wall? That blue wall right there? Everybody following along so far? Okay, cool. So we get a pullback. Now, this is really important, and we talked about this in the room. We got an Xbox with the trapped order. I just talked about it 2 seconds ago. But we also talked about it live. There's not a full 10 ticks into that wall. So if I'm going to take that trade, either A, I'm not going to take it, or B, I'm going to take it and take my profit right before that wall. Does that make sense? So, I mean, if I measure it, by the way, I'm middle clicking on my mouse button. You can also, I think, hit Control D to get your data box. And then if you hover over a bar and sort of click on that, hover over on that bar, it'll show you the low is 82.72.50. So 10 ticks would be 82.70. So in this bar actually did hit right at 10 ticks at 82.70. But I would still have moved it like maybe a tick or two above that target because my take profits are limits and I don't want it to hit it and then bounce all the way back up. And it did bounce up. So I would take it. I mean, there is 10 ticks to it, but I would probably more go for like 9 ticks on the trade just to put it like a tick above it. And then can y'all see my crosshair on the screen? So you know where I'm pointing? Okay, good. That's what I want to make sure. And then, of course, Hotcom ought to be highlighting it too for the, not Hotcom, but whatever you call it. Bandicam for the recording. Oh, good. It has the red blue arrow. Good. Okay, so now we're coming back down. And then this right here is this is a reversal trade. Do we take this trade? I mean, we've been coming down. We took another short. Come down here, we get a long. Do we take this trade? We can measure, how far did it go? High 82.72.50. So it had to go to 82.75. Made it to 82.74. 50. Hey, that's my dog. You can close the dog one. That was just a picture. Do we take this trade? So my answer would be no, because we don't really have DR, or we don't have divergence because we didn't go lower. I mean, you could say, hey, well, we did have a divergence here, but no, remember, look here. So you don't have divergence going on, and you didn't make a lower low. So there's no divergence. OD's not diverging. The price did not go lower. Okay? Now, if you did, and I'm saying you shouldn't have, but if you did, do you see this stack up here? We have a major support level from the 6240, the flux pivot. Okay, and we got a magnet. So if you did take that trade, what would you want to be doing on that stack? Would you want to take your profit before it? Yeah. So like I said, I don't think you should take the trade anyway because you don't have any divergence. But if you took it, and I'm trying to help you because I know sometimes some of y'all are getting real cautious and you're missing out on trades and you're watching money fly by that you could have had. Is that true? Anybody having that problem? Okay, well, as you notice, they're working. So take them. But just when you see a stack, not just a level. So there's a lot of people having that problem. Okay, a stack. Remember, remember what I said, like when we're at the highs, a level is really important as far as being cautious. But when we're not at the highs, when we're back down into, there's a level here and a level there and a level everywhere, stacks matter, walls matter, flux pivots on the 6240 that you draw matter. So make sure you do that homework. Okay? So we don't take that trade. Now we get a short going in the direction of what our overall trend has been. And we get it off of a stack. And we get a paw and a trapped order and an exhaustion box on top of a swing point, a flux point, with on top of a mini magnet. It comes down, it's at the level, but we get to enter below it. Okay, do you notice that? The entry would be below this, right? So it has to break it. So we get to take that trade. There's our 5, 10 points. Okay? Ticks. And then some. Everybody get that trade? Any questions on it? Is this helping you how to not overanalyze every little line on the chart? Because remember, I sort of like said, everybody makes this mistake, and I pounded my fist on the webinar. If y'all didn't watch webinar 3 on the levels and walls, like everybody looks at every level and makes it like it's powerful, and it's like you can step over bricks, you can break a twig, but if you bundle a bunch together, they're hard to break. If you stack a bunch of bricks, it's hard to get over. So, and what's happening is a lot of y'all are still looking at a brick on the ground and going, I don't know if I can get over that. It's like, just pick up your foot and go. Okay? So, nope, I just entered right below. 1 tick below. So, you shouldn't have a lot to analyze. If you see, this is a big thing, as soon as you see that that Xbox trapped order is there, I mean, you should be right-clicking and hitting a sell stop. Or a sell stop limit if you want to do that. Like right away. And then look and go, oh, because the bar's going to take a little bit, right? And they go, oh, wait a minute. There's a bunch of crap in my way. No, click. But a bunch, not just a brick. And that's a big thing. If you're waiting for this bar to close to confirm, to set your order, anybody guilty of doing that and missing out on trades? How many of y'all wait for the bar to close to set your order? Like, and have missed trades? And you're not alone, so go ahead and just admit it now. So, like, 3 of you are honest. The rest of you are liars. Just kidding. But, yeah, I mean, as soon as you see you identify the target. Okay, we got an Xbox with the trapped order. Identify the pattern it has to set up. Check real quick on the instruction to see if there's 10 ticks to move without a stack in the way. And then put your entry in right away. Don't wait for it to close down. And there's also a cool little function over here. If it's going really fast, you don't have time to right-click and place it and everything else. You go right over here. And you can just hit sell. Boom. You're in. Okay? You don't have to right-click and do it. I mean, if it's getting really close, you just leave this open. And you're like, okay, I'm about to. And you're like, oh, crap, it's moving fast. And boom. Or what happens, this is what really sucks, is you get this message. Y'all ever have that happen to you when you're trying to place an order and you're like, that is so freaking annoying? Because you're like, where's my order? I can't put it up. Y'all ever have that happen? Okay, it's because you clicked on an indicator or a drawing. Click in a green spot and then come up here. Click in a green spot and then come up here and it's there. But if you clicked on an indicator, then it's going to give you the properties for an indicator. So click on the green spot. Before, like if you see an order's coming up, just click over on the green spot, and then you'll be set. I just use market. I don't ever use these. If I'm trying to get in now, I'm trying to get in now. Or if I'm trying to get out now, I'm trying to get out now. So, but I try to not let that be an issue. I just click over here and right click. So yes, per step 3 of the setup, you should have the 2010 template set up. So yep, I am recording this. So the question was, should you have an ATM set up? Yes. Step 3 shows you how to set up the 2010 template. Now, another thing that happened is somebody got in this trade and were like, yeah, you really shouldn't be in this trade. You should get out of it. Instead of going and grabbing your stuff and trying to move it to get out, just hit close. Handy. It'll just get you out of the trade, and it'll cancel any working orders. Okay? Well, if you forget to have an ATM, then you won't have an ATM, and then you'll have to manually go set your stop and take profits. So, set up your ATM. But if you forget, and I say you have an order up here, then you'd have to go in and manually set your take profit and your stop loss. But it can be dangerous not having that ATM set up, because if you get a Trump tweet and you don't have that stop in time, all of a sudden you're down 30 points. You just lost a crap load of money. It is important once your ATM gets triggered, once your order gets triggered, that you go ahead and you adjust it to where it needs to be, because it's not always going to be right where it needs to be. It's not always going to be right at 10 ticks. It's not always going to be right above the height of the bar. It's going to be based on your fill. Okay, so we got that one, another 10. And by the way, we got a lot more than 9 trades this morning. We just counted 9 of them. Right there, we got an Xbox with a trapped order with a paw off of 2 mini magnet, actually 4 mini magnet, bouncing off a mini magnet, bouncing off of a wall. You like that trade? Easy 10 points. I wish Ninja had... Let's see here. What are they saying? And I'm going to ask you a favor when I post it on our Facebook page. Okay? Because I'm going to post it up there too. On the facebook.com/Apex Investing. Will you all do me a favor and talk about how much you liked this? Like, comment on the Facebook comment. On the Facebook video. So we can get more people to take advantage of this to see how valuable it is.